I always love our Feature Friday. I try to bring in somebody, whether it's related to the news cycle, Kansas City-related media personalities. I love hearing the old war stories from the Kansas City media personalities. And we didn't do a lot of that today with Michael Mahoney from Channel 9 because there's so much going on with the Chiefs and the Royals news. But now that Kietzman is here, I mean, he could go down memory lane, and I just love this stuff, man. You've known Mahoney for what, 35 years?
I mean, since I started working here, 85, I was an intern at Channel 4, and occasionally I'd come across him on a sports story. I was teasing him when he was here. What a legend, first of all, he is in this city and in the industry nationwide, actually. I teased him that when Mahoney showed up in a sports story, whoever was being interviewed was like, oh, my God, what'd I do wrong? Mahoney's here. There's something going on. Am I in trouble? Is there something? Because you didn't know what he was going to ask. And he would go in with this, most sports reporters don't ask anything.
Yeah.
And Mahoney would just dig right in there and get right in your face. He had a reputation of being a hard-hitting reporter. And sometimes, and you probably have experienced this now, you're, 8 years in here doing the show? So it's easier to book guests now than at the beginning, right?
Oh, of course.
So once you get a reputation and people know who you are. Mahoney had only been here a year, and he was at the Hyatt Regency collapse disaster, which was a huge national story in Kansas City in the summer of 81. Mm-hmm. I think it was summer. They had a big skywalk thing inside the Hyatt Regency Hotel, and it collapsed, and a bunch of people died. And it was like a national story. Mahoney was there doing a story when it happened. And, I mean, everybody was watching Channel 9 because of that. He was on Nightline every night. He was doing updates. I mean, he became instantly very, very famous. He'd only been here about a year. I'm in high school. I'm just a high school kid. Mahoney just became legendary and famous and won lots of awards. Once that happened and we really learned what he was like as a reporter, man, everybody was like, okay, Mahoney. I mean, he was everywhere.
The first time I saw him do his thing in person was the 2018 Senate race when Josh Hawley was in that primary with Austin Peterson and Tony Minetti and some other guys. And he got right up in Hawley's grill. And Hawley was the front runner and the expected winner. But you're right. He didn't care who you were. He was going to get in your face, ask you your questions. And, the one of the many things I like about him is I don't really know what his politics are.
Right.
I have no idea.
I agreed.
I mean, some days I guess he's one way. Some days I guess he's kind of slightly the other way. Like, I don't think he's ideological on either end dramatically, but I don't really know what he is.
No, in the comp, I guess, is maybe Dave Helling. I worked with Dave for a long time, and I knew he was a Democrat. I wouldn't have called him a liberal back then. I knew he was a Democrat, but you never knew it when he covered stories. And these guys, their generation of reporters treated everybody the same. It's what's totally lacking in politics in this country today. This Jake Tapper thing's just, what an absolute fraud that guy is. I mean, seriously, it's so bad.
It is bad, but here's the other part of it, too, now. Like, for reporters today, they all want to get to the point where they're hosting their own shows, and frankly, you're very unlikely to get there just being a straight news reporter today.
Right.
You got to have an opinion, you got to stand out, have an angle, and you're not going to do it just playing both sides the same. You can't get ahead anymore doing that.
Yeah, where it's really bad is like the White House press corps.
Yeah.
You really see it. It's got to be 90% Democrats in that room.
Mm-hmm.
And they act that way. When Biden was president, they didn't ask anything. And now it's Trump. They're making up acronyms like TACO, trying to say, chicken out. Trump always chickens out. They're always coming up with these things. You can see their bias in the way they report, but Mahoney was never like that.
Think about Jim Acosta, Caitlin Collins.
Yeah.
They became big stars because of how they grilled Trump during 1.0, but they never gave Obama that flack, certainly not Joe that flack, so it only cut one way.
And, I'll defend Peter Doocy, who clearly is a conservative reporter, but if you go back and look at the things that he asked in the White House press corps during the Biden administration, they were all spot on.
Yeah.
He was the only one asking, but he was asking, is this president competent?
Mm-hmm.
Well, what are we learning now? No, he wasn't. People were auto pen signing things for him. So it was fair. It was obviously coming from a different angle, but Peter Doocy was fair. He wasn't in there with gotcha questions.
And here's the other part. If you had the rest of media doing their job, Doocy would not have perceived to be as the only guy willing to ask those questions, right?
That's right.
Now, I did hear about Mahoney almost lighting his pants on fire.
Yeah, that's a great
What
story.
happened?
Well, we used to have a Christmas party at Channel 4, and we'd save the reel. You record everything. And over the course of a year, there's a lot of outtakes. And it would always be played at the Christmas party. And everybody was subjected to this. It was going to be funny no matter what, because all these outtakes are great. So there was a live shot happening one time, and I don't know where they all were. They were all out of town. It was a satellite shot. And Channel 4's, it might have been a political convention, and Channel 4's reporter was there, and the tape is rolling back at the station, but it's a wide shot. So you can see several reporters all lined up getting ready to do their live shots from this event, right? And every reporter has a tick waiting for a live shot. Some will tap their pen, click their pen, do whatever, bounce around. Some will sing a song. You're waiting to go live. You got this little nervous tick. Mahoney had a lighter in his pocket. and he's just sitting in there flicking his bick.
Oh, no.
You know? He literally started smoking. He's like, ah! Like he set his pants on fire. I was like, now he didn't burn him to the ground or anything like that, but he flicked the bick enough that it made smoke, and it was coming up on the screen. It was fantastic.
And you played it at the Fox 4 holiday
Of
party.
course we did, yes.
Oh, no. Because somebody from Fox 4 just happened to have their camera on Mahoney.
Yes.
I wish I could have seen the live shot from whatever that hit was, because I'm guessing they tried to go waist up on it.
Can I get really personal and crazy now? I'll tell another one.
Sure.
Do you guys all remember a guy named Bob Gretz? He used to work for the Chiefs, right? He worked for the Chiefs as their reporter, so he was like an inside guy. At training, I'm not going to tell this on radio, am I?
Yes, you are. We got some.
At training camp one year, it's hot. It's in River Falls, and we're sitting there waiting for Marty Schottenheimer to come in or something, and he's got these golf shorts on, and he's just sitting there waiting, and his legs are spread. I will not give out the photographer from Channel 4 is like, excuse me, is his scrotum hanging out of his shorts?
No.
It's right there on camera. It's right there. It made the holiday party. It was fantastic. There was nothing beyond reproach. It's unbelievable.
HR would not take that these days.
No, you couldn't do that in corporate America land today.
Absolutely not.
But that made the cut for the Fox 4
slumped down in his chair with his legs out in front of him like this.
No.
He's just waiting, half asleep, and it's just hanging right out.
I don't even know how that happens. It's got to get through multiple layers for that to happen, man.
He might not have had any underwear on. I don't know. It's River Falls. It was all loosey-goosey. Everybody wore shorts and flip-flops, and it was one of those
but you
things.
still wear underwear. I mean,
crazy, dude.
Oh, man. Mark's weekend was just made. Mark loves that. Mark's.
I started crying in here.
Hey, I made the tape. I got hypnotized one year and slobbered all over myself.
Oh, my goodness.
It was awful.
That's
There's just drool coming out of my mouth.
Hey, Mark, you got to be more serious now that you're a Harvard educated certificate owner, okay?
That's right.
You got to grow up, buddy.
Stand-up citizen.
Just know that. You got a now Harvard guy there running the board for you and producing the show.
I love it.
All right.
Way to go.
Hey, man, have a great Friday and a great weekend.
Thanks. I heard you 7-iron, 165 yards.
Yes. Yeah, but you know,
Big
the mats always help.
You're a big hitter, buddy.
Right? The mats help. Kietzman, I'm sure he'll find a round of golf this weekend. He will be here next. KCMO.